a video, sort of a new style, trying to do for a race report to, well, we need to introduce this. We need to let you know how this happened, which is not so good. And also how you might be able to ride this next year. We've got some interesting stuff going on with this Suzuki. As well as the bike in the background that is hopefully going to be going around the TT course because we're getting really close to that. And I suppose just generally chatting about the channel and what's happened recently. So let's get down to it. We bought a Suzuki SV650, a little mini twin. And my kind of plan for this was to get a sponsor on board to be able to use it as seat time for racing as I develop my riding, because we're getting real close to the roads now, and you know the TT course ain't gonna mess around, so I need to not mess around either. So I was gonna use it for just operating in the mini twins and up at Jurby, even though it'd be against super twins, but it'd be good seat time to develop my riding with a different riding style. On top of that, we want to use it as a hire bike for the track days over the island. So some people don't want to take their nice road bike out on the track, or maybe they don't even have a bike, but they're wanting to get out and have a go on track. Well, mini twin, perfect for it. So that's going to be the plan going forward. Now, as these things started to come in, we got the sponsor lined up with Isle of Cider. And I had this little inkling, like, you know what, we can use this for the end of season endurance. But a lot of things had to come into play first. So obviously we had to get the bike looking right for the sponsor. That's kind of the main point. So stripped all the stickers off down, got it on a paint job. Didn't have any graphics on, but we needed the bike shaking down. There was a track day on. I couldn't do it, I was in work. Quinn was away, so we sent Annie out. And she crashed it.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
So, I then had a week to learn how to do bodywork, repaint it, and get the bike ready, because the week before the endurance, Quinn was still away, and me and Becky were headed over to Spain to see our good friend Eric Schuss of Schuss Racing to go do a track day in Cartagena. We just arrived here at Cartagena, whatever you call it.
Cartagena.
Which is stayed in his house, rode his bike. Thank you very much. It was a fantastic trip, and I think got me warmed up for the endurance. Bike ready, having neither of us ridden it, came back. We arrived back on island 6 p.m. the day before the endurance. Quinn was getting back on the island at 6 a.m. day of the race.
Tired, mate?
Oh boy, I'm a sleepy man.
So we're up, we're signed on, we've got armbands, a program, a list here. It looks like we're actually in the biggest class of the 400s and twins true endurance, so double check on there. Got all our passes and business. Need to put the belly pan on the bike and go get it scrutineered, and most importantly the heater's on because it's
It's chilly.
The structure was that there would be a free practice for anyone, particularly if anyone's not been out on the track or their bike before, followed by 3 qualifying sessions, and then there would be an early lunch, brunch, and then the start procedure would go on. Now, because I've got a little bit more experience than Quinn, decided that he should go out in that free practice and go and get used to the bike ahead of his qualifying, which he went out. The bike seemed to go quite well, put in some alright times. He came back in, handed the bike straight over to me, and I went out on my qualifier. I know it sounds silly and quite obvious, but when you're out there in sort of in race attack mode, you know, I'm trying to put down a time here so we can get a good place on the grid. It took a while to get used to 2 main things. A minor one was that I didn't have a quick shifter, but I don't have a quick shifter on the road, but it's road shift, so it was just a kind of a bit of a change to be race shift without a quick shifter. That's fine, that was fairly simple. Now the bike was really flicky. It's fairly lightweight compared to the 600s, little skinny tyres, and it's a 160 on the back, so it felt like it flicked a little bit. But I was using my braking markers, which when you're going at slower speeds, because this has 70 horsepower probably, if any have escaped, it's got less than 70 horsepower, and I was using braking markers that I would on the 600, which was it's 127 at the wheel when it was last on the dyno. So I had to try and get out of my habits, which has been something that I've been battling all year, and try to progress on and move a bit quicker. Another thing was the throttle, which is now detached. It's a standard throttle on it, so there's quite a throw. So I was having to remind myself to actually open the throttle around here rather than the 8th turn thing that I've got on the R6. So those two things that didn't really work against me, besides the overarching of never ridden the bike before. So I wasn't massively surprised to have qualified. I think with a 125, we were third to last on the Le Mans startup. Quinn went out, I think he did 128-ish, somewhere around there. Only slightly behind, so it was really good. And yeah, so we knew we had a bit to make up on the start. But anyway, talking, getting a dry mouth, cup of tea, new mugs in the store, tell you more about that. Tom had given a really good brief to Quinn for what to do with the Le Mans start. I was running, and we managed to make up, I think, 7 places straight off the Le Mans, which was good. We were the only class, I think, that we're going to have to scrap for a podium. There was 4 classes running. There was the lightweights with the true endurance, the lightweights with the relay endurance, and then the bigger bikes, true endurance and relay endurance. Those other classes all had 3 or 2 teams in. There was 8 in ours, so we were going to have to scrap for a podium for one of them. The first session I went out and it was well drying, and I kind of got into my head what I needed to do with the bike and was able to push fairly hard. Warming up in Spain definitely helped. And I think I got down to a 118, which I was really happy with. The 70 odd horsepower to 118, I think that's faster than I was lapping on the old F Sport CBR 600 at the last endurance, which yeah, really chuffed with. So it's nice every now and again to just see where you've developed. I'm by no means fucking the best rider, but I always try and do a little bit better, and it's nice when that is reaffirmed by something like a lap time. Went out on there the first session, and we have quite short races over at Jurby. You know, they're usually 6 lappers. It's 8 minutes it's done. We think when you go away to, you know, Cadwell and there's 10 laps, that's a long race. And obviously comparing to where my goal is of the TT course and how long they can be, I knew I needed to stay out and start building up on that bike fitness for a period of time. Unfortunately, after about 40 minutes into the session, the oil light came up on this, which was a bit frustrating. So we came back in, was sitting in 2nd place in the class, and unfortunately after the 6-minute pit stop, because we had to end up topping up the oil, I don't know where it got.
I'm gonna make this oil disappear. It's gone.
Whatever, wherever the oil had decided it was going to, it needed to top it up. So we had a bit of a delay there. We sent Quinn back out in 6th, and he went out and absolutely smashed it. It was great just watching his times tip down and tip down. Now the key with an endurance is consistency. There's no point going out and doing a absolute, you know, record breaking lap if you then fuck yourself and can't keep it up for the rest of the stint. So he went down and his times were chipping away, and it was just ace to see it coming down and coming down. Came back in with the bike fueled up again. There was a few teething issues with the pit stop because we hadn't been able to practice it. We didn't know how much fuel was in the tank. Yeah, we just didn't really have the preparation we did last time, but that's fine and dandy. We got back on and I headed back out for my 2nd section. And this was quite an interesting one because about 20 minutes into the session, the bottom end of the course was raining and the top wasn't. So having to try and adjust riding style while I'm there was pretty good. And I managed to keep climbing back up into 3rd, I think, in class. It put a smile on my face, to be honest, a lot of the time with the bike. Yeah. Anyway, the weather came back. So going around in a little bit of the extra session, probably 10 minutes or so on, I think I was getting close to my maximum allowed time in the session, so I wouldn't have been far off having to come back. But it started to rain again. and I had a good look around, and I could see clear skies in sort of every direction. And I thought, right, we're going to lose a lot of time here going in and changing the rider to come back out, possibly changing wheels, but then we're going to have to undo it again because the rain ain't going to be here for that long. It's dry all around, there's just a little patch. So I backed it off right back and was just going fairly steady. Went around for a lap and sort of felt it in. It was getting a bit greasy. Came back round on the next corner just as I went through the flip-flop onto the start-finish straight. Front end just went boom, down. And I was sliding down the track. There was no real friction because it had got quite slippy by this point. Just watching the bike sliding and just thinking, don't roll, don't roll. And I think it just grabbed and spun as it went over the curbs, destroyed the bodywork. Yeah, as I ran over trying to pick the bike up, the belly pan was stuck underneath the wheel, and I tried to pick the bike up, but it was going to smash the belly pan, so I had to grab the front wheel and point the bike up upside down, kick the belly pan out of the way, and then try and pick the bike up. And as I went down, I was trying to grab underneath the bar at the bottom, and there was just nothing there. It completely snapped off. The clip on there was gone, throttle cable was gone. The screen on the front, absolutely battered. After Annie's crash, she replaced that screen, so it was quite expensive. I think 100 quid because we have these specific fairings, and that was the screen that was on, and they wanted ridiculous posting because being 12 miles offshore causes problems like that. So yeah, it was a little heartbreaking, to be honest. I was very frustrated. I think I kicked the ground because, you know, that was going to help. Oh yeah, it's just a little bit annoying. We had a real good shot at the podium, and unfortunately I made the wrong call to keep with steady laps, or didn't wheel it off enough, or yeah, just came through, lost the front, and the bike wasn't repairable. So that's how the endurance went. But yeah, the bike will be repaired over winter, along with getting this bike ready for Manx Grand Prix, because my current R6 isn't eligible, it's too old. So that one that's basically the same is eligible, so I'm gonna take a lot of parts off that into that and then sell what's left. Yeah, so I think I might start doing some garage videos again because that's handy. It keeps busy, some people like that. I know the channel's been very quiet recently, and I think that's just because the long form videos don't seem to get the engagement, and to be honest, it's a lot harder when, you know, I've got a certain job to do in the garage. It's going to take 4 hours, and then editing it's going to take 10, and then it goes up, and it's not really beneficial. The whole point of me doing this channel was to try and give people an insight into the racing and follow my journey as I went from a road rider up to racing on the greatest circuit in the world, as well as try and bring a bit of an awareness and hopefully get some sponsors on board, whether that is you at home or companies or whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to see going forward how that can change. I can't lie, I lost a bit of passion for it, for the art of putting the videos out, so we'll get back onto that, and I'm going to finally pull my finger out my arse and get the shop up and running. So we do have these mugs over on the shop. You can get them right now, and they're £10 plus postage for wherever you are in the world. There's a few of them that have got out to the different hemisphere, which is cool. We still have the t-shirts that we did over TT, the skeleton logo, and if you are a fan of our local super flat race circuit, we have these Jurby ones, because that is the Jurby ring. So they're available. There will be a few more bits coming up. People have asked about patches, so we're going to get them back on, and all the proceeds go into trying to reduce the dent in the bank account, basically, for Go Racing. Pricing up Manx Grand Prix at the minute is scary, I'd say so. The one thing that's kind of shocked me a bit is outfitting the pit crew in fire kicks. You have to have fireproof overalls, flash hoods and gloves for the pit crew. You have to have a pit crew, and that's looking at about 1,500 quid at the minute just for their outfits. But it's all part of it. It's why I do all the overtime I can. It's why I've pushed and stayed focused. You know, I want to race on that circuit and see if I can get to TT. So that's where we are. Please head over to the shop, subscribe, like, give engagement. That really does help. I hate to sound like, you know, a content creator, blah blah blah, but clicking those buttons and just leaving a comment down below really do help push it to a wider audience, as well as just let me know that you're listening. If you're not listening, then why are you still here? But if you are, thank you very much. Stay tuned, particularly over on Facebook and Insta, where a lot more updates go up in the shorter form. I do have a TikTok now, but TikTok's TikTok. I'm getting used to it. And yeah, as we go into 2024, we are going to go real road racing. Thank you for watching, and as always, ride safe, not slow. Go buy a bug. We'll see you next time.